Un momentito. Bien, vamos a grabar y muy buenos días, buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Están bien?
Sí.
¿Todo bien?
Genial, sí.
¿Todo bien? Ok, vale. Todo bien aquí. Todo bien aquí. ¿Cuál es el plan para hoy? What is the plan for today? Okay. We'll do a little quick review on the reading, ask if you had any questions about video, any homework questions first. Then we're going to work on see if you can guess whether there's an accent mark or not. See? Okay, bien. That'll be a very audio oriented. Yeah, even though accent marks are visual, you have to hear me say the words. And then we're going to work on por and para. It's kind of a big topic, but probably what we want to come away with at the end of today is just an idea of start to notice when you get those videos every week, examples of por and para, because almost every single thing that you get in terms of whether it's video or a little article to read, there'll be examples of por and para all the time, always, siempre, casi siempre. And of course, any other questions you have along the way are fine too.
If we were to mess up por or para or an accent mark in trying to converse with a native Spanish speaker, maybe they'll just jump into English.
Yeah. Well, quizás. Actually, there are a few, and we're going to look at por and para. There are a few things where you can use both por and para in the same sentence, but it conveys a different idea. But accent marks, it's kind of easy to tell after you get used to it. Okay. Por and para is always a difficult thing. It really is. If you feel like, oh, por and para is a pain in the neck. Well, it is.
You get an echo on your voice.
There is an echo. I don't know why. I do not think it is on my side.
Everybody should put on their mute and see if it continues.
That might be it. Okay. Bien. Silencio. There's a lot of times just from hearing me talk. Yeah, there's feedback. It's feedback, right? Okay. Vamos a empezar. We're gonna do a really quick walkthrough on this little article that you had for reading first. And we'll take a look at actually, you're going to see some uses of, is it both por and para or is it just para in this one? No recuerdo exactamente. I don't remember exactly. Pero el título es Cines de verano al aire libre. Outdoor summer movies. Yeah. But you have to arrange that. Wow, we've got two little prepositional phrases because you can't use summer as an adjective. It has to be de verano. Yeah. En inglés se dice summertime. That can be both a noun or an adjective, I guess. But in Spanish, we need that as a de verano, and outdoors has to be al aire libre, into free air. Free air, okay. I do want you to notice whenever you get readings from this site, you do have literally, in case you didn't notice it, a little play button. So you can always play that, and it will, it's a good little listening drill as well. Okay. So it will play each story when you get something off of this website. But, okay, bien. And when you look at each phrase, they show you how we think in blocks. Yeah, when we hover on these, it's going to highlight always a block. So never one word by one word by one word, but think in blocks. En España, en verano, in Spain, in the summer, instalan cines al aire libre. Wow, they put up, they carry out, they have, you put out outdoor movies. Yeah. En las ciudades y los pueblos, in cities and towns. En verano hace calor durante el día. In summer, it is
Hot during the day.
hot during the day. Hay personas de vacaciones. There are people on vacation. And whereas we say on vacation, you can't say en vacaciones. Siempre en español es de vacaciones. Y vacaciones siempre es plural. Yeah, vacation is always a plural word in Spanish. Y también gente con tiempo libre, and also people with free time, right? Here we got a great use of por. When we talk about a non-specific, a super general time period or duration of time, we use por. And you're going to see later on, we can use how we talk about time determines whether it's going to be para or por. Okay. How we talk about time. We can talk about time using either para or por, but
Marilyn,
Yeah.
see,
out of curiosity, in that first phrase there, the word mas as an accent mark, but why would you ever need an accent mark on a one-syllable word?
oh, yes. Why would you ever need it on a one-syllable word? Okay, momentito. This is one word that got...
Is there an alternate
There is.
word mas, like
There
two and
is.
two?
But I'll show you, and this is a super brief explanation. This is something that I didn't put on your short list. Remember that short list of, here are words that, momentito. Hang on, I gotta get my stuff set up properly here. Remember that list of words that, these words exist both as an accent mark and with no accent mark, like tú and el, right? And me, but they have a different meaning. Mas is one of those words, and there's a reason that I didn't put it on the list, but it is actually on that list. So sí versus sí, él versus él, me versus me. Okay. Mas is also on that list. But the reason it wasn't on your list is that the non-accented word means this. The same thing as pero. But the reason it's not on the list is that this word mas with no accent mark is kind of an antiquated word. So you see it, you don't hear it very much. You see it in texts in literature that's super old. So if you want to read old stuff from 17th century, 16th century, are you going to read that? Probably not. There is a form of mas with no accent mark, which is the same thing as but. It's a synonym for but, pero. But we don't hear it that much. But this kept the accent mark. Don't know why. So yes, there are two words, mas. There you go. Okay. Continuemos. Let's keep on going. Here you've got to use of por, the general one. Por la noche, at night. At night, it is
Cooler.
cooler and cooler because it's más fresco. More cool, right? That's what we have to say in Spanish. Y las personas van a estos cines, and people go to these movie theaters. See? And here we have use of para. To
Watch the old movie.
to see old time movies. Yeah, to see and antiguas would mean really old movies, pretty old movies. So not current movies that are newly released, but old movies. Para ver. So we could say that in English as to see older movies or in order to. If we can insert the idea of in order to, and we've got that infinitivo, it's para. This is one of the gimmies with para, in order to do something. Or sometimes in English, we just say to do something, but that sure isn't for, is it? Y pasar una noche muy agradable, and to spend a really pleasant night con la familia o los amigos, with your friends or family. Esta noche, mis amigos y yo, obvio, vamos a ver a La Pantera Rosa. We're going to go see Pink Panther. Not a recent release. Sí. En el cine de verano de Laredo. And they tell you what city this outdoor movie theater is in. La película empieza a las 10:15. It starts at
10:15.
quarter after 10, 10:15. Y termine a las 2:30. Ends at
12:30, midnight.
12:30.
12:30. You would start a movie that late because, of course, most people don't eat dinner until quite late. So if you're going to take your kids out in particular, that is what happens. My teenagers, when we went to Spain last, were so shocked that little kids like 4 or 5 years old were walking around the streets with mom and dad at midnight because they just got out of dinner. But I said, no, es normal. This is really normal. The time clock is different. The schedule is different. Laredo es una ciudad costera.
Coastal.
It's a coastal. La costa is the coast. Okay. So costera is coastal, something on the coast, right? Cerca de Santander, near Santander. Santander, para que sepan, so you guys know, Santander es una ciudad en el norte de España. This is a city which has actually a film festival. So films are, so kind of like Cannes, but not as big a deal as Cannes. Well, unless you live in Spain, then it's as big a deal. But it is a beach town, a beach city. El cine está en el Paseo Marítimo. It's on the...
A boardwalk or a...
Yeah, you know what? We would probably say boardwalk. This would be paseo is a place where you stroll. Well, a boardwalk is where you stroll. Yeah. A maritime strolling path. Well, that's a boardwalk. There you go. Al lado de la Plaza de los Tres Pescadores, next to the Plaza of the Three Fishermen.
Fish.
Pescadores, right. Pescado, right, is fish. Pescadores are people who fish. Enfrente de la playa, La Salve. So they're just telling us all location words, yeah. Enfrente, in front of a beach. Tiene una pantalla gigante. It has a
giant screen.
Giant screen. We got to use of para proyectar películas, to project films, project movies. Las vistas del cine son maravillosas porque puedes ver la playa, because you can See the beach, el mar, y la Puebla Vieja de Laredo. And the old town of Laredo. Es increíble. And I want you to think about this. Porque always is because, right? It's two separate words. It's porque, why? And the answer to porque is porque, because, right? The answer word to why is because, porque, porque, porque. Porque says because. When we take away that que, por by itself can often mean because of. Oh, if you make that link between porque, because, and por, because of, you see one reason for using por. Okay, esta noche, tonight, tenemos que llegar 15 minutos antes. We got to get there.
We get there 15 minutes before.
15 minutes
Okay, we
beforehand,
have to get
15
there.
minutes ahead. See? And here's a big F word, so you don't want to use this outside. You don't want to in Mexico to catch a seat, to grab a seat. Yeah. Para tomar sitio. Para tomar
Oh.
sitio. Yeah, en el cine. Para tomar, ¿sí? Porque no hay demasiados asientos, because there aren't too many. Yeah, there aren't enough. There aren't too many seats. Es estresante, stressing, because you got to get there early, right? And in Hispanic culture, getting there like at the date is not a big priority. So getting there early is, stressful. Pero pienso que vale la pena, but I think that it's worth the effort. Vale la pena literally means to be worth the pain.
Oh.
But when we say it's worth it, we mean it's worth the effort. And worth the effort is vale la pena. Vale la pena is a great chunk of words to know. Vale la pena, it's worth it. It. We never say the word it when we say it's worth it. It's vale la pena. It's worth the pain. Bien. The people who demolished the tile in my kitchen years ago and had to clean up the mess, I heard them muttering as they were sweeping up, esto no vale la pena, no vale la pena. This is not worth it. Did not want to be sweeping that up. I gave them a dirty look. Here we go. Okay. La entrada es gratuita.
It's free.
The entrance is free.
Entrance is free. Getting in is free. Entry is free. And notice, gratuita refers to no cost. Yeah. But, pero. ¿Dónde está? But aire libre is free air. Yeah. That kind of free as in open, or free as in related to liberty is libre, but free as in
Free of charge.
no cost, no charge is gratuita or gratuito, but it's gratuita because it's talking about entrada, right? It's gratuita, the feminine form. So think about gratuities.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a fancy English word, gratuity, right? Yeah. Okay. La entrada es gratuita. Nosotros vamos a llevar palomitas. We're going to take popcorn y unas bebidas. Es un plan muy barato y divertido. Okay, bien. If you want to go back and look at that another time and listen to it, you can play. Yeah, it's a good little listening drill. And then you've got the audio or the written out transcript there as you listen. Okay.
Marilyn,
Nancy.
what's the difference between afuera and al aire libre?
Okay. El contexto. Okay. We use afuera. Por ejemplo, tengo algunas flores nuevas afuera. tengo dos plantas nuevas afuera. I've got two new plants
Outside, okay.
outside.
Okay.
All right. Pero vamos a la feria. Está al aire libre.
I'm in class.
Okay.
Let's go to the fair. It's outdoors.
Sorry. I see the difference.
Oh, por ejemplo. Yeah, it's hard to peg down. They kind of mean the same thing, but yeah. Oh, por ejemplo, el buzón, the mailbox. El buzón está fuera de la casa. The mailbox is outside the house. ¿Sí? Bien. A ver, ok. Las sillas están fuera de la casa en el patio. The chairs are outside the house on the patio. But aire libre is more like great outdoors kind of feel. Yeah. So voy a montar en bicicleta al aire libre. I'm going to ride my bike.
So it's the inside outside. In other words, the inside outside when you would be talking
Yeah.
about
Sí.
outside. Adentro y afuera. Sí.
Sí. Sí.
Sí.
Es así. Yeah. That's an excellent way to put that. Así es. Okay. Buena pregunta. Good questions. Okay. Bien. ¿Todo bien? Okay. ¿Hay alguna pregunta que se trata de los dos videos? Any questions on the two videos? Any odd thing that you came up with those? I think they were pretty basic. Oh, yeah, the one with the fox costumes. Yeah. Disfraz. And then the mercados. Okay. Vale. Okay. Vamos a practicar con las tildes, la acentuación. Okay. Accent marks. Wow. Yeah. Vale la pena. Wow. It's worth it. It is worth it to take a look at those. Okay. And we're going to do a quick review. And then we're going to do some actual practice. Un repaso breve. Quick review. Why do we need those stinking accent marks? Okay. Do remember that in a lot of languages that are not Spanish, in other languages, an accent mark might change the way a letter sounds, but it does not change the sound the letter makes in Spanish. An accent mark does not change the sound the letter makes. It's always over a vowel. Okay, it can't be over an N or a B or a Z. It's got to be over a vowel. A, E, I, O, U. All right. And it does not change the way the A, E, I, O, U sound. It just changes which syllable we punch harder with our voice. That's all it does. Okay. So, el repaso es, our review is that when the way we say the word, the way we pronounce the word obeys these two rules, when they obey the rules, we don't need any accent mark. It's only when the way we pronounce a word breaks one of these two rules that we need the accent mark. We need the accent mark to show where the stress will fall instead of the rule. In spite of the rule, it breaks the rule. So what do I punch? If it doesn't follow the rule, which syllable do I punch harder? That's the job the accent mark has. Okay. So what are the two rules? If the rules are what's the last letter of the word, and it doesn't matter what function the word has in the sentence. Okay. What letter is the last letter of the word? If the last letter is a vowel or a letter N or a letter S, so that means it's going to be a lot of verbs. Yeah. A lot of verb conjugations end in an N, end in an S. Yep. There you go. We normally stress the second to last, not the very last syllable, the second to last. Okay, so here are words that obey that rule. Palabra, estudio, entre, cocinan, escribes, joven, entiendes. The IE and entiendes, that IE, they walk together. They're a diphthong. Okay, we pronounce them. They both slide into each other. They count as one syllable. Okay, though the way we say those words follows that rule. So no accent mark needed. Bien. Okay. Rule number 2 is that words that end in any other consonant, meaning not an N, not an S, if that's the last letter, we normally stress the very last syllable. Okay. So normal, caminar, beber, every single infinitive, except for ones that carry an accent mark, which isn't a lot of them. Feliz, libertad, caray. Okay. And they sometimes call that the nose rule because the N and the S in the word nose, and that there are vowels in the word nose. It's just a mnemonic device. That's all that is. Okay. So anything that obeys, any pronunciation that obeys those 2 rules, no accent mark needed. All right. Está bien. So let's put that into practice. Y vamos a ver. In order to do this, you're going to need me to pronounce the word. Lleva tilde o no? Does it carry an accent mark or not? Depende en cómo se pronuncia la palabra y la letra final. It depends on how you pronounce the word and what's that last letter. That's what determines it, right? And the 2 camps are last letter, vowel, N, S. Last letter, vowel, and S. Or here's the other camp. Last letter is any other letter. And I should say any other consonant. Really, that would be more accurate. Consonanti is really bad. Consonant. Okay. Está bien. So, lleva tilde o no? Should it need an accent mark or not? And I have the last letter highlighted. And remember, you got 2 little things that are going to help you here. You're thinking about, you're thinking about, is it, yeah, what's the last letter? So we've got that as something to help us. Bien. Okay. Here's camp number 1. Here's camp number 2. Okay. Voy a pronunciar. Escribimos. Escribimos. ¿Sí o no?
No,
No.
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 It obeys the rule. And I've got, well, you'll see. Útil. Útil.
Yes.
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 Sí.
Sí.
Necesitamos acentos. We really need an accent mark there. Because the last letter is an L. We're punching the U. Útil. That breaks the rule. I need to put an accent mark there so that people know you don't pronounce it útil. Útil. It's not útil. If you said útil, it would be like you saying easy. That is an easy puzzle. No. People give you a funny look. Easy puzzle, not easy. Yeah? Okay. Útil. Eficaz.
Yes.
Sí,
Sí.
sí,
We need an accent. Eficaz.
Yeah.
sí.
Yes.
No.
We need an accent mark?
No. No.
Or is it,
No,
or do we not need an accent mark? Eficaz.
No.
No.
Why not?
No, it's on the last syllable.
We're punching the
Two
last
syllables.
syllable. Eficaz. Eficaz.
Ends in a Z, so it's
That obeys the rule. eficaz.
Ah,
Eficaz just means efficient, eficaz.
ah,
Eficaz. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not eficaz. It's not eficaz. It's eficaz.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Panaderia.
Yes, we need it.
Obeys the rule.
Accent.
Panaderia.
Obeys the rule.
Oh, Lee, okay, Lee. No,
Oh, this one is a little bit okay. Oh, yeah. This one is tough. This is one of those diphthong things. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. This does need an accent mark. Let me show you two words together. I'm going to show you two words together and you'll hear the difference here. And actually, I should have highlighted this whole thing. Normally, a diphthong is the last. That's like all together. But we want to punch that E more than the A. We're separating that diphthong out. And we're punching the E more. Panaderia. 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 Not panaderia. Yeah. If we obeyed the rule, it would be panaderia. Panaderia. So this is why I've got these two words next to each other. Panaderia is not the way you ever hear that word. Doesn't it sound a little off? Panaderia. Panaderia. Well, yeah, if you don't use the word. Panaderia is a bakery. Place you go to buy bread. Yeah, fresh bread. So, panaderia. 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 But let's look at this last one.
Pharmacy, right?
Farmacia. Se pronuncia. This is pronounced farmacia. Farmacia.
That's the wrong spelling.
And the
It's not
ma
commerce.
gets pardon.
Farmacia.
There should be no R there. I got my R in the wrong place. That's why I'm all messed up. Farmacia. Farmacia. My fingers are dyslexic this morning. Farmacia. Farmacia. It's not pronounced farmacia. Vamos a la farmacia. That sounds very Italian. Farmacia. No es farmacia. 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 This obeys the rule. Right? We're taking this last part as this all hangs together. Yeah. But here we're punching the E sound more than the A sound. Panaderia, panaderia, but farmacia. Farmacia obeys the rule. No accent mark needed. Can you hear the difference? They both have an ia ending, but this ia all hangs together. Farmacia. Farmacia. It's not farmacia. Farmacia. And the yeah, all runs together very quickly. Yeah. But here the ia doesn't run together quickly. The E gets more punch. See, panaderia. Panaderia. Yeah. And most of those eria phrases, most of them, not all, this kind of suffix is often used to talk about stores. Yeah. And so panaderia, zapateria, a shoe store. Yeah. Pasteleria, a pastry store. Ferreteria, a hardware store. Ferreteria. Okay. Most of those area things will have that punch at the end, but not farmacia. Oh, we don't need farmacia. I was thinking about that. There it is down there. Okay. That's why they're together. Vale, okay. Segunda columna. Cómelo.
it needs it.
It needs it. And it needs it because normally we would be punching second to last, but we don't. It's cómelo. Cómelo. We need an accent mark. The way we pronounce the word breaks the rule, right? It's not comelo. It's cómelo. Cómelo. Cómelo is eat it. And because we added the it word onto the end of that command, cómelo, we still want that come to sound like come. Right? We don't want to change come into come. It's come. So when we tag on an extra syllable, that's why, we need to put in an accent mark to tell people who are reading this in writing, punch a different syllable. Cómelo. Cómelo. Okay. Siguiente. Abril.
No, no,
No. Obeys the rule. We punch the end. Abril. Okay. Feliz.
No.
no,
No, don't need it. Let's make feliz plural. Felices. Felices.
yes,
Oh. Yes.
Do we need an accent mark?
yes,
No?
Where would I
No.
put it?
No,
on the I,
delicious.
On the I, but
It's
it
an
ends in
Yes.
Yes.
S. That means
Because-
that means we punch the second to last syllable.
Don't
oh,
need it.
yeah.
Is that what you hear
Yeah.
punched? Felices.
Mhm.
Yes.
Delicious.
It still
Yeah.
doesn't need an accent mark, even plural.
See,
Yeah. Sometimes when you make things plural, they insert an accent mark because otherwise you'd be changing what you punch. Sometimes there's no need to, right? There's a difference between feliz and felices. It's still li. We still are punching li. Felices. It obeys the rule. But there's a big difference between that and joven changes to jóvenes. Big difference, right? Joven is the base word. We always want to be punching the jo part of it. Yeah. Okay. So when I make this one plural, I have to put the accent mark in. Otherwise, I'd be changing the syllable of stress to jóvenes. The base word is joven. We want to preserve where that base sound is. Joven, jóvenes. Got to write in the accent mark, jóvenes. But here, when we made it plural, no accent mark needed. Just making it plural might need an accent mark, might not. Usually doesn't, but sometimes it does. Okay. Inteligente.
no,
No.
No, don't need an accent mark. Ends in a vowel, stress second to last. We do stress second to last. Doesn't break the rule. Inteligente. Okay. Lejos.
no,
No.
No.
No. Ends in an S. Punch second to last. That's what we punch. Don't need an accent mark. Lejos obeys the rule. Okay. Vale. Bueno. Siguiente. Okay. Ends in a vowel. Cerca.
no,
No.
Obeys the rule. Second to last. Está.
yes,
Mhm.
Sí. Okay. We do because it ends in a vowel, but we punch. We punch that last vowel. So the verb está gets an accent mark because it disobeys the rule. It flies in the face of the rule. It's okay. But there is also a word that is está.
no,
No. No.
No accent mark here. Esta obeys the rule. Esta like esta mañana. Esta like esta noche, tonight. Yeah. Esta mañana, this morning. Esta noche, tonight. Esta taza, this cup. Esta taza, right? When we mean this, as in this thing, esta gets no accent mark. Okay. Okay. Here's our next word. Siguiente. Next. Difícil.
yes,
We do need an accent mark. Sí.
Yeah.
Because what is happening is it ends in an L, an L. It is not pronounced difícil. Difícil. It's difícil. That's why difícil needs an accent mark. It breaks the rule of punch the last syllable. Okay. Siguiente. Un verbo. Entendemos.
No.
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 No. Last letter is S. Second to last syllable. We do pronounce it entendemos. No need for an accent mark. Okay. The word for laptop. Portátil.
Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
Sí. Portátil. Because it is not portátil. Portátil is not the way that word is pronounced. It is pronounced portátil. Portátil, I put an X mark in so that I know which syllable. It is not portátil. It is portátil. Portátil. Bien. Okay. Now I've got the word tío.
Sí.
Yeah.
Sí. We're separating out those two vowels instead of combining them into one sound where the two slip together exactly and get the same stress. Tío, not tío, but tío, tío. The I gets more punch. And then we've got the word
Could
salud.
you, go back to Tio, please?
Yeah.
So this is different than combining the EO as a single syllable, which many others that you've shown us. But now, so the O by itself is a vowel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those.
Why do we need the accent
It is
mark?
the second to the last. Yeah. It's because, okay, and this gets into kind of a different rule, which I don't want to wade into because honestly, I don't think about it much, but there are also, yeah. So here's another rule, which really you don't need to concern yourself about very much, to be honest with you. And there's another rule which has to do whether a vowel is strong or weak. Okay. And I'm trying, and I even, and the truth is, I struggle to remember which are strong and which are weak. I think it is I and you that are considered weak. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, if you got a strong and a weak together, and one gets more punch than the other. Yeah. Okay. So what's the bottom line? You, practically speaking, don't need to know whether it's a strong and a weak. Even I don't honestly need to know if it's strong or it's weak, right? What's happening is that if I am saying one vowel with a heavier foot on the accelerator than the other, if I'm not blending them together nicely, then I need an accent mark on the one vowel. Okay, so tío is one of the, and you're used to saying tío, right? So, okay, there goes. But again, it's almost like those one syllable words. It almost has that feel, doesn't it? Except we're punching the E more. Once in a while, you'll find a verb that does this. Like, I'll give you an example. And often it's when it's a short verb. Oír, to hear. Oír, yeah. You know, when you conjugate it, you get things like, perdón. You get things like oímos. Oímos, it's not oímos. It's not oí. Oí together would sound like oí. Oímos. Oímos sounds different than oímos. Es muy sutil. It's really, it is muy sutil. It is a really subtle kind of thing. When you've got those double vowels going on, you have to listen and really listen hard. Yeah. Oímos, or a verb like this. Se reúnen. They get together because it's from reunirse, to get together, right? To gather, to meet up. Meet up verb, yeah, meet up. Se reúnen. Eu, se reúnen. We punch the U more. So many times when we have two vowels together and one is getting a heavier punch than the other, we're going to wind up hearing more stress, and there's got to be an accent mark there to separate those vowels of the diphthong out and say, I punch one harder than the other. And you hear it. You hear it. Are you going to hear it today, right now? Maybe not. But the more you hear people speaking, you will hear the difference. And not a lot of verbs do that, but a few of them do. And it's with the two vowels together, when you hear one stress more than the other, when you put more emphasis on one vowel than the other, then you need an accent mark there. ¿Entienden? Yeah. For words like portátil, it'll be more obvious. For útil, for fácil, es obvio, it's kind of obvious, right? But just as you roll along, notice how that will happen. This is something that, again, just sort of take the next couple of weeks to notice when you get something in writing, or even when you read the subtitles on one of the audio, listening videos. Kind of start to notice that, because it'll creep up little by little. And I'll show you a couple quick examples. Unos ejemplos. ¿Dónde están? Momentito. Ok, por ejemplo. I'm trying to see an example because I know there were a couple, but I might not be getting the exact. Got to get the exact subtitles in the right place. Okay. A ver. You're going to see an example here of where we need an accent mark. Un rotulador, a marker. Yeah. Yo también. Why does that word también have an accent mark? We are punching, we're taking that diphthong out. Or, normally, an N at the end, you wouldn't have an accent mark there anyway, right? Normally, you wouldn't need it, but we don't pronounce that word también. We specifically take that E vowel, and that gets more punch. También. También.
Yeah.
So we have an accent mark. There are a lot of little words you'll start to notice where this happens. Oh, look at this word atrás. Even aquí. Yeah, it's not pronounced aquí. That ends in a vowel. We don't say that word aquí, 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 aquí. Okay, and atrás. Atrás, behind. Yeah. Be in back of, behind. Atrás. It's not atrás, it's atrás. Okay. So every once in a while you start to notice when these accent marks pop up. And I don't know if I have more examples that I can easily find here. Probably not. Oh, there are a few, like we got a también there, and yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, some of the conjugations for vosotros get accent marks. They just do. But anyway, okay. Bien? Yes, see?
Sí.
See? Okay.
Okay.
Accent marks will not normally be something you will feel perfect at. Just notice where they start to pop up. Just notice that. Because poco a poco, little by little, the more you see that, you'll start to say, oh, yeah, that's because of,
Yeah.
and it will start to make sense. Okay. A ver. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any kind of question on that at this point? ¿Sí o no? No, no, no.
Mm.
Okay. Bien. I had, hopefully you got the, my email about I did not send you the right link for the por and para, notes. So I corrected that. Y gracias. Thank you for calling out that I had done a cut and paste badly. And I didn't have por and para correctly pulled up, but let's take a quick look at the por and para slides and think a little more deeply about por and para. It does help. Okay, first of all, before we get, it does help. It is very normal for por and para to be difficult for English speakers learning Spanish. This is a problem everyone who speaks English first struggles with, just like English speakers struggle with ser and estar. Same kind of struggle. Almost, something that comes up for a long time. I'll give you an idea. My students that I saw 5 days a week throughout the school year when they were young teenagers started to really get the hang of por and para about by year number 3. Year number 3. And I tell them, how do you know that it's supposed to be por or para? And sometimes their answer was, because that's the way I've heard it. And you know what? That was the right answer. Because certain phrases, you hear it so often that the gut response was, it feels right. Yup. Because certain phrases use por and certain phrases just use para. And they said, that just feels right. It's the way I have heard it. And that's okay. It is okay. But there are rules. However, when we speak, it's very difficult to break your brain into these rules. It's very, very, very difficult. So I give them to you, but here's one thing you should always keep in mind. And actually, I'm going to show you a different thing. If you think of por and para as a 50-50 shot, 50% of the time, if it carries this kind of feel, it'll be por. If it carries this kind of feel, it'll be para. That's what you should be aiming for. And they're segmented off on this screen, yeah? If por, we use por when we indicate because of. It's a reason. We use para when there is a purpose, an end point. And all of these things under para mean a destination, an end point, where we want to wind up at the very end of the idea. And that's why destination is a good way to define para. When we talk about a purpose, it means your purpose is your end point, where you want to end up. And we use para. A final destination, we want to go to a place. When I end my journey, I want to be in that place. That's para. But if you're just traveling around or in an area and you're just kind of on the loose, you haven't got, you don't have to be in a particular place. You just want to be wandering. It's por. You're going to see these. If we're talking about time and we want to have an end point, that means a deadline. We use para. But if we want to talk about how long or generally when, we use por. Therefore, por la mañana, in the morning. Por la noche, at night. Por la tarde, in the afternoon. Okay? Por la tarde, por la noche, por la mañana means in those 4 or 5 hours of those times of day. I don't know if it was 8 o'clock or 11, somewhere in there. Yeah. Por la mañana, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., I don't know, somewhere in that bubble. It's por la mañana. But, si digo, por ejemplo, el reporte, the report es para la mañana, then it means that chunk of paper is due in the morning. Yeah. Para la mañana means when you walk in the morning, that sucker's due. It better be ready for the boss. Okay.
So Marilyn, you can travel por avión para Illinois.
Sí. Es posible.
Okay.
Sí. Bien. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And here again, we've got destination idea versus, let's call it an agent. Yeah. If something was done by someone, we use por. By means of is por. Lo contacté por correo electrónico. I contacted him by means of email. Lo contacté, I contacted him por teléfono, by phone. Okay? If you mean anything done by somebody, by means of, it's por. But if something is absolutely going to wind up with a human being, that's para, because that's destination. So if you break down the idea of por or para into the idea of destination versus something that's kind of more vague and less exact and less precise, being por, that kind of gets to the root. So por is used to give a reason, like the idea of we take porque, because, and we get rid of the que, because of, that's por. But para gives a purpose. So, okay. Let's take a look at those. Por ejemplo, for example, some phrases just use por or para. We'll talk about that next week. Por ejemplo, estudio español por mi trabajo. I'm studying Spanish because of my job. On account of my job. Because of my job is a reason. Okay? Por mi trabajo. If I weren't in this job, I wouldn't need to know it. The job is my reason, because of. The word porque means because. When you mean because of, get rid of the que. Yeah? Por mi trabajo. All right? But sometimes you might say, estudio español. Oh, estudio español para trabajar en Argentina. If I take the word as trabajar, an infinitive, I'm studying Spanish in order to work, not because of my job, but in order to work. It's para. The quick way to remember this is that most of the time most of the time, vast majority of the time, if I can stick an infinitive in there, it's usually going to be para. Very seldom do I use an infinitive with por. Very seldom. Okay. Por is used for traveling. Por is used for along the way. Para is used for the final destination. So, este autobús pasa por el centro de la ciudad. This bus goes through the downtown. They're not stopping in the middle of downtown. It goes through downtown. Por is alongside or through. But para will talk about where you want to wind up at the end of your journey. Este autobús va para el centro de la ciudad. This bus goes to the downtown. It will stop in the downtown. It's going to stop there. Okay? You'll get out. That's the destination. Okay? We can use para as quite often a substitute for the preposition a. Yeah?
Marilyn, in the example, where did it go? I guess scroll back up a little bit. Yeah, right there. So it says, last year we traveled around Spain, sounding like more general for poor. But would you use para said last year we traveled to Spain?
Para España. Two things are correct, either a España or para España.
That's a pretty subtle difference.
It is a very subtle difference. It is a subtle difference, but por is always going to mean alongside or through or by means of. So por in many ways never winds up being for. I mean, often, I shouldn't say never. Often we don't translate por as for. It means something else entirely. El año pasado viajamos por España. Last year we traveled through or around Spain. And it just means all over. Muy general. It's very general. Por España means through Spain. So that would mean, a whole bunch of cities all over the map. If you can make a lot of dots on the map, it's por. If there's one bullseye, it's para. Okay? Por ejemplo, somebody's making an announcement at the airport. El vuelo 112 para Madrid sale a las 9. Because it's going to Madrid. That flight will end up in Madrid. When it lands in Madrid, you are not going to be in Madrid for like 5 seconds or, half an hour, and then you're taking off and going someplace else again. Okay. Madrid is not one dot of many dots along the way. It's your end point. Then it's para. Okay. When we talk about time, por is for duration, para is for deadlines. So if you want to say, and now we can say for a period of time, it's por. Estudié por 2 horas. Durante is their meaning. If you can substitute the idea of durante, we know it's going to be the same idea as por. Estudié durante 2 horas means the same thing as estudié por 2 horas. For 2 hours. It's a whole period of time, a chunk of time. Okay, it's duration of time. But if I talk about a deadline, necesitamos terminar el informe para mañana. I need to finish the report by tomorrow. Okay. Mañana is the drop dead time. I got to have it done, right? Therefore, it's a destination, an endpoint. A deadline is do or die, the last thing, right? This, however, estudié por 2 horas. This talks about a chunk of time, a duration, a period, a whole long period of time. Okay. Por is often used to be mean the idea of by someone. We'll show you how. And it means passive voice, meaning the emphasis is on the agent who did the action. You'll see what we mean. Here we go. Here's what we mean by that. Este puente fue construido por los romanos. This bridge was built by the Romans. The bridge didn't build anything. Yeah, the bridge didn't do any building. No opposable thumbs on that bridge. So the agents were los romanos, the people who actually did the building. This is what we call passive voice. The bridge didn't build anything. It was built. Yeah. So fue construido por los romanos. Por is often used to say by or by means of, right? It talks about the agent behind the scene who did something. Okay. But if I talk about human beings and I say, compré este regalo para mi hermana, I bought this book for my sister. Now I'm talking about who gets the book. Who does the book end up with? She's the destination. And because it's a destination, mi hermana is para mi hermana. Okay, bien? If you break por and para down into 2 camps, a 50-50 decision, instead of I got 10 rules for por or 12, which is what you would have rules, nobody just thinking off the cuff is going to say, is it rule number 10 or rule number 12? Nobody's going to be doing that in real time talking. Oh my God, no. You got to have a 50-50 breakdown, right? So the 50-50 breakdown is going to be something more vague, por, something more general, not like a super dot, and a bullseye, an endpoint, para. Yeah. If you break it down to one of those 2 ideas, it makes life a little bit easier. So let's take a quick, well, not a quick look, a real look at por y para. Por y para, por y para. Let's see if you can figure out whether we need por y para. El contexto de todo. Context is everything. That's always the way it goes. Oh. If I talk about la cartera, let's talk about la cartera. La cartera es wallet, ¿verdad? Right? Wallet. I want to say a wallet is for keeping money. And the word for keep is guardar, like guard. Because when you keep something, you guard it, yeah? ¿Cómo se dice? The wallet is for keeping your money.
Para
Well,
guardar.
I would use para for purpose.
Para guardar.
Para.
Es
Es
para
para guardar.
guardar
Guardar
tu dinero. Tus tarjetas de crédito, ¿no? Sí. Para el efectivo, cash, es para guardar tu tarjeta de identidad. your ID. Bien?
Sí.
Es para guardar. It's for keeping. Okay. Oh, por ejemplo, si hablamos del celular, if we talk about your cell phone. Bien? What's a cell phone for? What's its purpose? El celular. What's it for? What's
Okay.
its use, its destiny? It's
Para comunicar.
Talking.
es para comunicar,
Para
es para comunicar, es para
Llamar.
llamar a muchas personas. Bien. But a cell phone is for so much more than that. What's it for? Es para. What other things do we do with that cell phone?
Llorar,
The purpose.
looking up.
buscar información.
Yeah.
Sí.
Para buscar información, sí. Para buscar información. Sí, 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 posible. Do we have games?
Jugar.
Es
Para
para jugar videojuegos. Sí, sí, sí. Oh, is it to take a look at your appointments? El celular es para
Citas, like,
Mirar las citas,
mirar o
las
ver las citas.
mhm.
Okay, look at all of those purposes. Yeah. Para plus an infinitive. Para plus an infinitive. Para plus an infinitive. ¿Sí? Muchos infinitivos. Para mirar o para ver las citas. Para verificar. Para revisar. Así es. Wow. Okay, so we had to combine a whole bunch of things there. Pero. But if I want to talk about something, let's say a little more narrow, okay? Los detergentes son para
limpiar la ropa.
limpiar la ropa. Exacto. ¿Ok? Los detergentes son para limpiar la ropa. Para limpiar. We use para with infinitives a lot. Okay? The verb that comes after para has to be an infinitive form. We don't conjugate that because para is also a preposition, right? Verbs that are right next to a preposition, and I say that for a real reason, verbs that are right next to the preposition, they stay in infinitive form. So you don't have to worry about changing that verb form. It's always para guardar. It's always, para comunicar, para limpiar. It's always an infinitive, yeah. Just a little preview. There is a different structure. Para que. Para que cannot use the infinitive, but just para does. Okay? Para followed by the infinitive. Okay. Because that's, yeah. Okay. Here we go. Oh, sometimes we use para to talk about opinions. So we want to talk about some things here that are when you want to express your opinion about something. And just know that these just use para. but these are kind of common. Para mí is a common way to start an idea if you want to talk about what I think about something. Okay? Por ejemplo, para mí, la pizza es un plato exquisito, estupendo. Para mí, la pizza es un plato estupendo. For me, pizza is a great dish. See? Meaning, I just have that opinion, yeah? Para los niños, for kids in general, la pizza es genial.
Muy rica.
It's great. Es deliciosa.
Marilyn, way back when, if I recall correctly, you gave us a list of how to order things in a restaurant, and one of the ways was para mí.
Sí.
So, like para mí, una pizza.
Exacto.
Okay.
Yeah, this is also a phrase we use to order. Tienes razón. You're exactly right. It is also used to order things, para mí, so that you don't even have to use a verb. Para mí, un vino tinto. For me, a red wine. Yeah. And there you're, you're both expressing opinion, and you're saying that you want that wine to end up here on this side of the table, not the other side of the table, right? The other person may be having a beer, or maybe having something, who knows, quién sabe, who knows, yeah? So, sí, exacto. But para is often used to indicate somebody's opinion, right? It might be para mí, para los niños, para ellos, for them, right? So it can be all over the place. I might say, if I really hate driving in traffic, I might say something like, para mí, el tráfico en la autopista es horrible. I'm talking about my opinion, right? Es horrible. Para mí es horrible.
Would you ever combine, like in one thought, para mí with like me gusta or no me gusta, or would they never kind of mix together?
Por and para aren't used with the gustar. It'll always be an a. It'll be a preposition, but a different one. A mí me gusta. Bum, bum, bum. I like something. See? A mí me gusta. Or a mí no me gusta mucho el tráfico. Bien? Así, like that. Bien?
Yeah.
See? Let's say I want to express, for me, the traffic is horrible. But for a truck driver, it's nothing because está acostumbrado. He's used to it. So he doesn't care. So his opinion, right? Para el conductor del camión, para el conductor del camión, el tráfico,
No pasa nada.
sí, no es nada, no es nada, es insignificante, es normal, no es nada, es muy normal, no pasa nada, no big deal, no pasa nada, exacto, bien. Let's say I want to talk about my media naranja, my half orange. That means my better half. Para mi esposo, in his opinion, para mi esposo, Los carros deportivos son muy interesantes. Ay, a ver. Son muy interesantes. Para mí, no. Bien, okay. We're just expressing an opinion or not, yeah? And that opinion thing is the end person, what they wind up thinking. Para mi esposo, los carros deportivos son muy interesantes. Para mí, no tanto. No tanto. No tanto, not so much. ¿Sí? ¿Bien? Okay. Okay. Let's take a look back at our traffic thing. And I want to show you a difference between por and para. I wanted to make that bigger, pero no puedo. I can't. Okay. Let's show you, instead of para mí, how I can insert a por and change the idea. Okay. El tráfico fue horrible. Horrible por mi accidente. The traffic was horrible on account of
My accident. Oh.
And I'm not talking about any kind of opinion or preference, but I'm injecting the idea of on account of.
Ooh.
I'm taking porque, because, and I'm injecting the idea of because of. I dropped the que. Por mi accidente.
And it wouldn't have to be just for my accident. It could be por un accidente.
Sí, exacto. Por un accidente. El tráfico fue horrible por un accidente, on account of an accident. Exacto. Exacto. El tráfico fue horrible. El tráfico fue horrible por mucha construcción. The traffic was a pain on account of
So much.
a lot of construction, mucha construcción en la carretera. Eso, sí. So, on account of, because of, por. Yeah, but para mí, I'm expressing an opinion. Okay. Otro ejemplo. Oh, here's one that people sometimes puzzle over. But I want you to see if you can see the difference between por and para using these two ideas. Okay, vamos a examinar y pensar un poquito en las dos fotos. We're going to think about these two fotos. I'm going to give you two sentences. They're going to use very, very different ideas. And we'll see if you can detect how por and para change their meanings. Okay. Anita. Anita trabaja el martes por su colega, porque él estaba enfermo. Anita trabaja el martes. Let's make it past, really. That makes more sense. Sorry about you. folks who don't know past tense, just know this is past. Anita trabajó el martes por su colega porque él estaba enfermo.
Mhm.
And instead of Anita is working, we're just making it past. So therefore it's going to be Anita worked. Yeah, past.
Tuesday for her
on-
colleague because he was sick.
Right. For her colleague, meaning instead of him. In his place. Yeah. Because he was sick. She worked for him, not meaning he's paying her paycheck, but he couldn't come in, so she subbed in. It was an exchange. An exchange. Okay? See? But if I change it this way, it means something else. Anita, and now we'll switch back to present, trabaja por una empresa internacional. Anita trabaja, I meant to put in para. Anita trabaja para una empresa internacional. Now by using para, I am changing the meaning of that sentence. What does it mean now? Anita works for an international company. Corporation, company, big company, yeah, empresa. Anita trabaja para the person who pays her end paycheck is Empresa Nacional. That's her employer. They sign off her paycheck. She works for that company. But now with por, she's working instead of her colleague. She's subbing in exchange for. Por is always used in exchange for when there's a swap. Whether it's a swap for money or a swap for, like you're paying for something, you hand them money, they give you something, yeah, in exchange for. Por is always used in exchange for. Right? But, this is the end. You're working for that company. The fruits of your labor go, they're for that company. Bien? See? We'll have some more examples of this next week. Okay. Unos ejemplos más. Couple other examples. If we're talking about time. Time. Por. If I want to say I'm working for 8 hours today, it's trabajo por 8 horas, ¿verdad? I'm working for 8 hours. And that means period of time. The chunk of time I got to put in is 8 hours, right? Por, right? But, yeah. This product has got to ship out on the 24th.
That's a deadline, so it's para.
Sí, so let's make this, we are sending out. Enviamos el producto para el 24 de marzo. Now it's a deadline. Hey, it's got to get out the door on this date. It's not 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., all the way through to 5. It's got to be on this date. Enviamos el producto para el 24 de marzo. We're sending this on the 24th. We're shipping it out. Okay. Está bien. Got the general idea? See? Bien? Okay. So there are, yes, a lot of rules, but if you know some of those rules fairly well, you'll get the general idea. This week you're going to have a nice, ¿dónde está? Oh, well, you will. You have to just trust me. There is going to be a nice video on using por and para, and she's going to talk about some of those, okay? And we'll talk about some key things that are just always like easy. They're rules, but they're easy rules to figure out. And they're easy things to remember. So you'll have a little video where she'll give you a bunch of them. And you're going to get a fun song. The fun song of the week. One video is going to be grammar, and one is a song. Canciones de mi padre. Canciones de mi padre. This is an old album that was released a long time ago. Songs of my father. And the title of this particular song off of Canciones de mi padre is Por un amor. Por un amor is taking the use of por, meaning because of.
I know.
It's a sad song. Es una canción muy triste. You are going to get the lyrics for this song because if you hit the CC box, it will give you exactly nothing. Actually, I had looked for I didn't. If I find a better one, I'll give you one. But Por un amor is talking about what happens to this poor lovesick girl on account of love. On account of love. And so you'll get the fun lyrics and ponder those lyrics as you hear the song sung very beautifully. See? Bien? We'll send you a little reading thing. I haven't decided which reading thing we're going to have yet this week, but there'll be a little reading item. But por and para is going to be a thing. So por and para, your video will be, again, walking you through some reasons for using por and para, and your song will be por in action. Yeah. The because of reason, on account of reason. And we'll come back and do some more examples with por and para next week. See? Bien?
Sí.
And we're also going to talk about some things where you just need to, where my students used to say, oh, you just use it. You just know. Yeah. Some certain phrases you shouldn't think of as, oh, it's one of the reasons. It just is. Like, por ejemplo. Por ejemplo. I mean, you could technically find a grammatical rule for por ejemplo, but why bother? Because por ejemplo is just used all the time. It should be one of those things. It's a chunk of words. That's what we use. It just is the way it is. Por ejemplo. We're going to talk about some of those phrases. Okay. ¿Está bien? Are we good?
Está bien.
Magnifico, magnifico. And I think I'm throwing in one video, which is going to review some numbers again. Ooh, it's kind of fun. It's about cold places because there were so many cold snaps all over. Wow. Did a lot of your relatives who live back east get socked with snow last week?
Mm-hmm.
They got dumped on. So we've got, in honor to our relatives who are stuck in colder climes, we have a video about a permanently cold place.
Oh,
Okay.
And it'll just, Antarctica, sí, yeah. Won't be the North Pole, sí, el Polo Sur, South Pole. So, 3 videos, and pondering some things about por y para. Okay, todo bien.
Gracias. Gracias.
Okay.
Gracias.
Maravilloso, maravilloso, excelente. Muchísimas gracias. Muchísimas.